Alright boys, another video, which means I have more free picks for you. As always, the first thing we got to do is recap, but I'll ask before we get into that, if you like free pick videos just like this, where I put tons of research into giving you the best picks possible, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so here we are, VIP recap. And we had a pretty average day overall. We lost 0.59 units, obviously not ideal. Not a crazy loss, though, because we ended up going 4 for 4 on the day. Now, what sucks is the 4 picks that didn't hit were all free picks, so I had people in my comments going crazy, saying I don't know what I'm doing, all my picks are trash, etc., etc. These days are going to happen. This is why you want a lot of volume. You want to take the variance out of the equation, add a lot of volume. It's going to make you more profitable, but we're going to recap them real quick. I had Steph Curry over assists. He had no assists going into halftime, got 3 to 4 assists in the third quarter alone, and then after that, just started throwing up a ton of shots, tried to put his Superman cape on, didn't really work out, didn't set up too many of his teammates. He did have 2 great opportunities to get assists, though, which would have put us over, but Brandon Pods missed wide open twice. It sucks, but it happens. We had James Harden under 31.5 PA. He missed by 0.5, so a pretty bad beat. Not a terrible play in my opinion, but he got an assist with about 30 seconds left that took him over. We had Norman Powell over 22.5 points. This was another 0.5 miss. Once again, really close. And I still think this was a great pick. He had 16 going into halftime and 19 going into the fourth quarter, but he ended up missing 6 shots in a row in the fourth quarter. If he hits just one of those shots, he covers, so I would take this pick again if I could. And then right here, we had Obi Toppin under his PRA at 11.5. Looking back at this now, I think it was a little bit forced. And then with Miles Turner going out in the first quarter, it just made it that much worse. He played way too many minutes. If he played in his average range of minutes, which was supposed to be around 16, I don't think he would have hit this over, but he ended up playing way over 20. So obviously not a good sight. And then we hit Amen Thompson under 5.5 assists. We easily cashed here as well. We had DeAndre going over his points as well. That cashed. And then DeRozan, we had him over his points. That cashed. It took him a little while to get going, but once he got going, he absolutely went crazy. Ended up hitting his over basically just in the second half. And then like I said, sucks that the free picks went 0-4, but it happens. That's why you want to get as much volume as you can. But to try to make up for that, we're going to bounce back big with our free picks. I do want to show you real quick. Make sure you're subscribed to this free plan right here. I give away all the free picks that are in my YouTube video if you don't want to watch the video or you don't have time to. And I also give away 1 or 2 free VIP picks to go along with that. I gave away DeMar DeRozan, that hit. It would have been able to make you a little bit of extra money. That's the goal with this. Help you out a little bit more than just my YouTube videos do. So make sure to subscribe to this. It's completely free. First link in the description. And with that being out the way now, let's get straight into my first pick. All right, so here we are in Props Madness. And right here, as you can see, we're sitting on Jalen Duren and his points at 12.5 because I absolutely love the value here because I'm going to be taking the over here at plus 100 odds. As you can see, obviously his hit rate is just 43.3% in his last 30. He's hit it 13 times in his last 30 games, which isn't the greatest, and he's just averaging 10.7 points on the season. But like always, you have to add in his projected minutes, and when you add in that he's projected to play around 27 minutes, you're going to see that everything changes a lot. So let's go ahead and put it here. He jumps up to 50%, so it already moved up some. But then when you add to that the 76ers are the 27th worst team in the NBA at stopping his dominant scoring zone, so he likes to score the majority of his points in the paint. And when you look at what happens when he plays teams that are bottom 15 in that, his percentage obviously jumps up. And then when you look at bottom 10 teams in that, it jumps up even more, and this is really what stood out to me, and it's why I liked this pick so much. Now, what's great about this is that the 76ers aren't just a bottom 10 team. They're actually a bottom 5 team in the restricted area, and when you look at what happens when he plays a bottom 5 team, he is hitting at a 100% rate, averaging 16.4 points in those games, and that right there should make you super confident in this pick. I mean, it's literally plus odds, and you can see that the odds should be in our favor for this to go over, so you're getting a ton of value here. This is a huge value play. I would go take it as soon as you can before this line changes or before the odds change. So that's going to be my first pick. My second pick is going to be that guy, Nikola Jovic, to go over his points as well at this line of 12.5. As you can see, just like Jalen Duren, he is hitting in his last 30 under 50%, which isn't the greatest to see, but when you add in his minutes, just like we did with Jalen Duren, he is projected to play 31 minutes in this game, so let's put him in that range. Let's do 28 to around 34. You see that he jumps up a lot to 53.8%, which obviously looks a lot better already, especially when you consider in these games he's almost averaging 14 points. So I love that about this, and then you add on top of that we're not going to see Jimmy Butler in this game. It makes his percentage go up a little bit more. He's hitting at 60% when that's the case. And you can also filter in that this matchup is pretty good for him, considering the Nets are the 27th ranked team in his dominant play style. So he loves to score his points as a spot-up shooter. The Nets are 27th in stopping that. And when you add that filter in, let's see what he does against bottom 10 teams in stopping spot-ups. It jumps up to an 80% rate. Let's see what happens when you do it to bottom 5. Nothing changes. Nothing changes until you get to about the bottom 3 where he's 100%. And that right there, if you look closely, 2 of those teams that he went over against were the Nets already this season, 18 and 17, which is obviously crushing this line, which is another reason I like it. And you also can take off this filter and look at his second dominant play type and make them bottom 10 in that as well, because they are. And you're going to see these hitting at a 75% rate in those games. And that right there is why I like this pick so much. I think he cruises over. He's done it both times that he's played them so far this season. And if you take a quick look at similar players, they're also hitting at a really high percentage, 67% on the season. 8 out of 12 similar players are hitting their overs with a 15% difference, which is obviously really big. And that rounds up everything why I like this pick. Everything is pointing for him to go over here, so go take it while you can. I like it at 12.5. You're getting pretty good odds at around minus 120. I'm taking this over, and that's my official second pick. Now, for my last pick, we're going to go over to the Raptors game and take a look at that guy, Scotty Barnes, and his point line at 20.5 on most books. As you can see right here, he's hitting it at just a 46.7% hit rate. But when you add to that he is projected to play around 34 minutes in this game, we're going to see that between 31 and 37 minutes, he is hitting it at even a little bit lower rate at 42.3%. And when you look at the matchup, it is just absolutely terrible because he is playing the Thunder, who obviously have one of the best defenses in the NBA. Now, I will say there is blowout potential here, and there is a lot of different things going on with the Raptors, so I do think his volume is going to be a little bit higher, but because the matchup is so bad, and because of what I'm about to show you, I just couldn't not take this under because I think there's too much value in it. So first things first, the last time he played the Thunder, he went under this mark by a lot. He only scored 12 points in 31 minutes, and they lost by 37. I do think they're probably going to lose by 20 or 30 in this game with the way the Thunder have been playing recently, and that'll obviously limit his minutes a little bit. But to go on top of that, I also just love to see that the Thunder are a top 2 team in his dominant play style, and when you look at what happens when he plays top 10 defenses here, his hit rate drops to just an 11.1%, which is obviously absolutely terrible. You can do the same thing for a second dominant play style. Let's see top 10 teams. And when you pair that with this being top 15, it goes down to a 33% rate. So all of this right here just makes a ton of sense to take the under. And the Thunder are also top 3 in his main shooting zone. And we can look at that as well. And that drops to a 25% hit rate. So when you combine all of that together, there's just too many things pointing to the under here, especially when you consider that when you look at similar players, they're hitting their unders as well. They're only hitting at a 25% rate, 2 out of 8 times, which is obviously bad, just like this hit rate up here is. And that is enough for me to want to take this under. When you want to take an over or an under, you want to see drastic changes when you add filters. And right here, that's exactly what you see. Top 10 against his dominant play style drops to an 11.1%. If you want to take it up to top 5, because that's what the Thunder are, you're going to see that it drops to a absolute 0%, which is obviously really promising for taking this. So I would go smash it at 20.5. You're getting really good odds here at minus 109. Different books are going to have it at different marks. This is minus 101. You're going to get it obviously on prizepicks and underdog, the same. But DraftKings, you're going to get it minus 110. Anywhere you want to go, I think you're getting good odds here. I would probably still take it at 19.5 as well, especially if you can get plus money for it, or if you can get really low minus odds. So minus 104 isn't terrible. I would still take it at 19.5, but obviously, if you can, take it at 20.5, and I think that's going to cash for you, and that's going to be my 3 official picks. So, to recap real quick, let's take a look at this right here. We have Jalen Duren over points at 12.5. You're getting plus money on it, which is obviously really big. We like Nikola Jovic to go over his points as well at 12.5 too. I think that's going to cash for us. And then Scotty Barnes under 20.5. I'd take it at 19.5 as well. 18.5 is probably a little bit too low. So 20.5 or 19.5 is where I want to work. Obviously, if it rises a little bit, take that. It's going to be huge value. But those are my 3 picks. I hope you enjoyed. Let's try to get this video to 100 likes. Hit that subscribe button. And also, don't forget, go subscribe to the free Winnable plan, where I'm going to give out a couple free VIP picks every single day to go along with my YouTube videos. Go do that. It's completely free. And until next time, let's all go print some money.